Hello and welcome to Check 1 2, and where we give you the lowdown on testicular cancer by talking to survivors, advocates and supporters of testicular cancer awareness here at the world famous podcast studio Glasgow. Today's guest is AF Marseh, who is the author of the book Tumorous Hesticles, Just Say Cancer. AF's story is really inspiring, you know, from being on the beaches in Copacabana to discovering that he had testicular cancer while out in Brazil, and then coming back to England to get that operation and chemotherapy. The book delivers on everything from humour, emotion, and gives some poignant advice to not just those who are going through treatment, but also those who are surrounding that person and those support networks. So it's a great conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, AF Marseh.
Is that live?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's us rolling. And then it's just this is it, and then we'll get talking away, man. Yeah. So it just makes that kind of an easier start than going right. Hello.
yeah. Big intro at the top.
Yeah. But thanks very much for coming on, AF. Yeah. Honestly, nice to meet you in person.
Yeah.
So this is Check 1 2, and if you're able to just kind of give us a little bit of background on yourself and your testicular cancer journey.
Yeah. So name's AF Marseh. Got diagnosed in 2016 in Brazil. I was working at the Rio 2016 Olympics. Had a back pain. Went to the athletes' village Mediclinic, and got finally after about 3 weeks over in Brazil. They told me it was a tumour, so I was about to fly to Argentina the next day to start travelling, and had to fly home back to the UK instead and sort of surprise my mum with, "Hey, I'm back and I've got a tumour," and surgery 4 days from landing, and so 1 week I was on Copacabana beach, and next week I was having a ball removed, and then started chemotherapy. I did 9 weeks, 3 cycles of BEP. I think it was similar to yourself, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had BEP as well. Yeah.
Lose the hair, gain weight, the full shebang, and then got the all clear in December 2016, and remission, and 5 years, 7 years down the line now. So started talking about it now, and raising more awareness and stuff like that. Yeah, and
you've written a book as well. Tumorous Hesticles.
Yeah.
Or that's right. Yeah.
Tumorous Hesticles.
Tumorous Hesticles.
Just Say Cancer.
Yeah, it's a great book. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. I think the way that you've kind of if I had read this book when I was first diagnosed, it would have felt almost like a future self talking to myself. It was great. I think your conversational narrative that you run through it, it's almost like we were pen pals, in the sense that kind of how you were writing things out, and I thoroughly enjoyed the humour that you put into it as well. I think it's, as we've talked about in this podcast a few times, the guys that we've had on, it seems to be the way to kind of help deal with that. So what was your motivation behind writing the book, and was that humour something that you used throughout your cancer journey?
The humour, it was, sometimes it's appropriate and inappropriate, isn't it? And we've got mates who like the inappropriate jokes and dark jokes, and they are quite funny. And when you're going through a cancer diagnosis, it can be draining when you're constantly having to put on those sort of sympathetic voices and head tilts and oh, is everything okay? And sometimes you just want a mate to be honest with you and be blunt and say jokes and stuff like that. I definitely used humour privately with my friends. It didn't work with everybody. You couldn't just be joking around about having cancer and stuff, because some people actually got emotional about it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So you would have to choose wisely where you share your humour and the level that you could. But after, after the all clear, I was done with cancer, to be honest. So I stopped talking about it. Didn't want it to define me. Right, I've done that challenge now, move on. And I think I got a one-way flight to Cuba and travelled Cuba and Mexico and things like that. I was like, I'm going to get back the months that it's taken away from me and explore. Then the second year of remission, I thought, okay, maybe I do need to do the bit more of the normal life and maybe save for a mortgage and put away for a pension and stuff like that. And wasn't really invested in cancer again. And then in the third year, I had a lot of people contacting me saying, my friend's just been diagnosed, my brother's been diagnosed, can you speak to them and such. So I'd get on the phone and we'd have a conversation and everything. And then eventually I started writing letters to people newly diagnosed as well. So someone would say, you know, my husband's just diagnosed, and I'd write them a letter and say, this is what's going to happen and everything. And then after writing a few letters, I thought, I could probably just make this a bit more generic and write it in a book. And then I'll send them the book. And yeah, I wanted the humour to be in there. There are other serious parts in there as well. But I read again some of the serious chapters last night, and I actually thought there are still some funny quips in amongst all the serious parts to get you through it. So yeah, definitely the humorous take was the one I wanted to go down.
Yeah, but even within those kind of more serious aspects of it, I found that personally as well. It's like the more serious things got, the more I wanted to make a joke or to, you know, it's like, I think that was always the problem with me. I think, you know, like we're kind of going through it like that. Yeah,
I mean, there's a chapter in there, the Hair Today chapter, where, you know, my hair starts falling out, and that's a weird time because at first you think, oh, it's just hair, you know, I'm going to get over it. It's just hair. I've had a skinhead before. You know, we're going to do this. It's fine. Especially for a man, I think. It's much more difficult, different journey for a woman losing their hair. And my friend came over and shaved my hair, you know, and he's using the clippers that he's used on his genitals the night before. and it just, and you know, he shaved a stupid sign in the back of my hair. And again, it was inappropriate and stupid, but it took away all that seriousness of, oh my God, I'm going to properly lose my hair. Now, there is that part of the chapter as well where you do look at yourself in the first time when you're completely bald and you're like, oh my God, this is bad. I'm a victim. Mm-hmm. And you literally think, oh God, what's everyone going to react like? Yeah. And then you sort of accept it and sit with the thoughts for a little bit, and you think, you know, all right, it's going to grow back one day. It takes a lot longer than you actually think as well. You lost your hair, did you? Yeah, I did. Yeah. And I was similar, like, but my wee boy was 4, right. So I knew my hair was going to fall out, but it wasn't falling out yet. But I thought, bugger it, let's get him used to me having no hair. So like, we got the clippers out and he shaved my head, you know, so it was like a fun experience, you know, like you're like this 4-year-old shaving just random bits off your hair. But it was at that point, you know, when my hair was falling out because of the chemo, I thought, oh, it was just short enough. I thought, I'll take this off with a razor. And I pulled it, and rather than cutting, it just all came away like you were wiping. And it was at that point I was kind of similar to yourself. I went, oh, this is actually something. I've got cancer. You know, and it was at the same kind of point. Yeah, I mean, and then again, like the inappropriate joke stuff, you know, it was how are people going to react to you? So, you know, my granddad, he got quite emotional, which was really emotional for me, because until your hair falls out, you know, it's just a new scar and it's some emotional stuff going on. But when you actually look like it, there's no escaping it, and no escaping how other people are going to react. And that is what the whole premise of the book is about. It's not just the person going through the treatment. It's everybody around them. And in there, I've like described my mum and her journey, and my dad and his reactions, and how he sat in denial and stuff like that. And then my friend Rich, who spent a lot of time with, and he just totally ignored the fact, you know, he wanted his old friend back. You're still AF, you don't have cancer. But then the hair bit is the defining bit where we went to the cinema and I removed my cap for the first time, and he's like taking a double take at me. He's like, wow, you've actually got it. Like, I've actually had it for about 9 weeks. So you've missed out, mate. And you know, he's sitting on another couch because he doesn't want to catch it. Right. So stupid. But definitely needed at time, because the emotional stuff around you is sometimes the hard stuff to take when you need to put on a brave face for other people, and you're sort of lifting up the team around you, your support network. So yeah, that's how the book goes, is trying to describe all the people around you as well, because I don't know about you, but if I was going through cancer when I was, you know, the last thing I want to read about is a book about cancer. But this book would have been perfect for my mum, my dad, my sister, the people sitting on the sidelines, that when you're asleep in a chemo chair or a bed and they have no clue what's going on, but they want to be there for you, that they would be reading this book on the sidelines and thinking, okay, maybe that's how I'm reacting. You know, my dad said some possibly silly things during my treatment, like he said, "This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me." I'm like, to you? What about me? So, and I put that line in there because it happened, and also I spoke to other people with cancer when I was writing the book, doing research and stuff like that, and there was a couple of people who mentioned that their dad had made a similar response. I don't know if it's a dad thing, a denial thing, didn't want to mention the word cancer or say words like he's sick or and stuff like that. So yeah, the book, and it is a total description of everybody's journey around me, because as you know, it's not just you that's going through it, it's everybody, family and stuff.
That's what I loved about it as well, is that, you know, actually for me personally, I would have loved reading the book when I was, and I think to be able to understand, you know, the reactions, because I kind of missed it. I think, you know, I had my own kind of weird wee things happen to me during my treatment as well, but I kind of missed a lot of people's kind of weird reactions to it. Yeah. So to have read that, I would have been, oh, that's why, like that mate's not came and saw me, or do you know what I mean? It's like, because it is difficult for those around you, and I think like that dad thing, like, I mean, it's almost like it's almost like this ancient paternal thing of this is the person I'm meant to protect, and I can't protect him from this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it's and you kind of get it, you know, in a sense. And but when I read that, when he's like, "This is the worst thing that happened to me," I was nodding myself. I was like, and then I was like, "What about AF?" And then you write that. Like, what about me? Because that's how it felt a lot of the time during the cancer, the journey. Sometimes you were trying to protect everybody around you, and even if that meant sitting in your room alone with your own thoughts, just so it wasn't making everybody upset, that's sort of what you did. And it describes my mum's journey in there as well. I mean, she was quite emotional and motherly and stuff, and the relationship with her during the book is, I wanted her to look after herself as well. And I know it's impossible for a mother to do. You know, she wants to be sat bedside, spoon feeding me, you know, spoonfuls of cowpole. That's how she wants her little boy soldier still there, you know. But I didn't need that at that point. Obviously, I did need all that at some points, but not all the time. So my part of that sort of premise is to look after yourself as well in the support network, and take advantage of like the Macmillan Centres or Maggie's, or I'm not sure what the ones you have in Scotland are, but there's so much support for your support. Yeah. Because I think that's quite important as well. Yeah. Oh no, definitely is, and there is the same type of thing, you know, and you know, you have the Macmillan, you have Maggie's, you know, your Cahonas is out there for guys, and like I'm willing to speak to kind of family members as well, you know, and I think it is important that, you know, the people around realise that it is going to affect them more than they actually think. You know, because say if somebody gets the flu, they're sick and it's okay, they've just got the flu. And I know people, you know, end up in hospital with the flu, but relatively, you know, but when it's cancer, you know, it really has a massive impact on those around you. Yeah. You know, it's scary. Yeah, I mean, well, you can never predict the reactions of what people are going to do. And again, my story, so, you know, I was in Brazil when I first got diagnosed, and because of the language barrier and the sort of healthcare system over there, and, you know, the first time I collapsed and had a problem, I went to the athlete's village in the Mediclinic, and, you know,
there's a French gymnast sat next to me in a wheelchair. He's broken his leg from a horrific triple somersault, right? He's in a wheelchair, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm sat there with like a swollen ball. You know, is there a gold medal for that? And
there should be.
Yeah, definitely. But they just thought I was like dehydrated. I was like, this is a bad hangover if this is it. This is the case. But then when the Olympics finish, the Mediclinic's gone, you know, all the athletes' village is gone. So I didn't have that opportunity to keep going back, which is because I left it so long. Obviously, that's why I got to stage 2, which is why the chemotherapy was needed. Because I went to some other private clinics in Brazil, and they were like, you know, it could be, but it's probably not, that sort of reaction. And I was going to Argentina within a week, and I thought, I was staying with an Argentinian friend as well in Buenos Aires. So I thought, I'll just get it checked out there. And that's when I went on the final day. I woke up shivering and shaking just before the Argentina flight. I had no more apartment, no more Airbnb, because that was my stay was up as well. So it was really difficult to go back. And because I got finally told at like 10 o'clock at night by a doctor, it was 2 a.m. back in the UK. Right. So I had no one to tell either. So I'm like sobbing on the streets of Rio. And then I had this Brazilian girlfriend at the time over there. So I was literally living the dream, right? I lived just off Copacabana Beach. Brazilian girlfriend, right? Me. Right? Got no right. I've got no right.
You've got every right, mate. Every right. Every right.
Thank you. And she was away. So I texted her and I said, like, the doctor's just told me I've got a tumour. And she went, do you want a Subway sandwich? I'm like, sorry, I don't think you understand. Is there a language barrier? She's like, yeah, I understood, but I'm hungry. And I'm like, I've just told someone I got a tumour. I think that means cancer. And all they want to know is, do I want a Subway sandwich? So you'll never know how someone's going to react.
No.
But yeah, I'll never look at a meatball Mariana and say, wait again.
No, especially, it's taking the piss out. You really, you know, it's more balls than you have. So
yeah, here's some. Sorry. And then melted with cheese. Yeah, Jesus. But yeah, and then I got home, flew home, and yeah, told my family as well. And yeah, my mum's first reaction was, do you want a cup of tea? I'm like, you know, someone give me your tears. Someone give me some dramatics here. So yeah, you're never going to know how people are going to react. You know, I told my mates, they just went, oh, bollocks. One mate just went, shall I cancel the badminton court then? You know?
It's like, yes.
Yeah. No, I still fancy a couple of rallies, you know. But yeah. Is this all right?
Yeah,
have I knocked it? Is it still all right?
No,
all right,
you're fine. Because I was going to ask, obviously, like, being out in Brazil, you know, a pretty new relationship, I would imagine as well, being out there. And then being hit with this, like, not a diagnosis yet, but the potential of this, you know, being cancer was like, you know, 99%.
Yeah.
You know, that must have been quite an interesting and lonely time, even though you had you obviously had your girlfriend, and you know there was people you could contact, but you were the other side of the world. You know, like you say, you're out in the streets of Rio, you know, and it's probably party atmosphere in there as you told you got a tumour. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was disappointing that I was in such an amazing place, obviously. And I'd always dreamed of going to Brazil as well. It was literally a dream come true. And I wanted to travel South America, and I was just free. Like, I went straight from university into a job for 5 or 6 years. And it was the first time I was unemployed. I had no accommodation. No permanent relationship. I had my Brazilian girlfriend, but you know, she was going to be living in Brazil, so I don't know if that long distance would have worked. So yeah, my Maslow's hierarchy of needs was zero. I had food and water, and that was about it. A Subway and a cup of tea, but that was about it. So yeah, the journey from the Airbnb apartment to back in the UK was the longest journey of my lifetime. Sitting on a flight, it's 11 hours from Brazil. Sitting on a flight, you've got no Wi-Fi, you can't text anyone, and you know, there's only so many movies you can watch. And then I just played Football Manager on my phone for like 6 hours, trying to take my mind off of it, you know, getting beat by Barnsley or something. So I was sat on my thoughts. Again,
sometimes on a flight you can get talking to the person next to you, you know, where are you off to? You can't exactly go, oh, you know, I've got to go home, I've got a tumour in my pants.
Yeah.
So yeah, that 4 days, 3 or 4 days to get home was a long process. And the thing that was more confusing was when the Brazilian doctor told me, he was like, you got a nodule on your testicle and it's a tumour. And I almost went, well, at least it's not cancer. Like, cause I didn't know what he meant. Like,
Yeah.
And then the actual consultant who first saw me, he'd gone home because his shift had finished. So when I got back to my apartment, I actually texted him, or he texted me, and I said, oh, the consultant said I got a nodule, but then he said I've got a tumour. Like, what's the difference? He said a nodule is a tumour. I was like, oh, brilliant. And then he said, yeah, you need surgery to remove this. I'm like getting told on WhatsApp that I've actually got a tumour. So that wasn't a standard experience, I don't think. I was almost like, it feels a bit unjust here. Why am I being told this on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
I mean, fair play to the guy. It was Friday night. It was 10:30 p.m. and I got a pretty experienced consultant WhatsApping me. That's quite special. But yeah, getting all the way home, and the letter that they gave me was all in Portuguese as well. So when I turned up to my GP back at home and I said, oh, I've got this letter and it says I've got a tumour, he's had to enter it all into Google Translate. And I was just like, there were so many different things on the way home. Like when I got to the airport, I thought, do I tell British Airways I've got a tumour and try and get first class or what?
Did you?
No, I didn't. I panicked as I got to the front. I thought, what if they don't let people fly who've got cancer?
Oh, of course.
What if it might be like an insurance thing and I've got to actually just stay in Rio?
Spend more of your travel money, at that point.
Yeah, because I spent all my blimmin' travel money on the medical bills over there. It cost me about £2,500 in one day. All these consultants I was having over the 2 weeks, and it got to the last one, and Dr. Daniel, who saw me in Rio, who we stay in touch on Instagram, great guy, what a legend. He's WhatsApped me to tell me I've got a tumour. Now he stays in touch on Instagram. What a fantastic man, Dan,
yeah.
Dr. Dan.
You must have made an impression, though. That's the thing. Like, you must have made an impression. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many British people he gets coming in with a swollen testicle that he's got, but he said, the ultrasound was £900 and the consultancy was like £500. But if they have to do surgery the following day because it's cancer, it will all be free. So then I'm sat there going, oh God, I could spend 1,400 quid here or have one less ball. Like, what a terrible game of would you rather.
Yeah, it really is, would I rather have cancer or less money? Let's say.
Yeah, I've got a dorm booked the following day in Argentina in like a 16-bed travel hostel, and I'm thinking I could have an extra 1,400 quid here, but be led in a bunk bed with a load of strangers, like with one less testicle. Yeah, it's
the whole Rio experience. It was just, when you're reading it, it's like, that's absolutely wild. But you've done so much like in your life already in terms of like where you've travelled. Like you look at where you've been. You've been Asia, right across Europe, Africa, South America. Having experienced all these different cultures and kind of, did that help have this resilience when you did find out, when you're going through that, like having that life experience, did that help with your resilience when you found out that you had cancer?
I'm not sure about the travelling aspect of it, but I had done a lot of, challenges in a way. You feel strange talking about them sometimes because it feels like bragging sometimes, but it's totally not, because I'm not a challenge. I'm not an athlete in any way. But I've done 4 marathons and they're very difficult. And you have to run through the proverbial wall on mile 19 of a marathon. It's difficult. It's really hard. I cycled to Paris in 3 days. It's very difficult. I was always living on the edge of my comfort zone and exploring what is outside my comfort zone. I did some stand-up comedy for a while, and that's very much out of you know, if you want to test the comfort zone, go and do some stand-up comedy. There's a good scene around Glasgow, so you could get up on stage one night and talk about your one ball. There's great material there. But yeah, I wouldn't say the traveling as much, but definitely pushing my comfort zones all the time made me realize of what I can do and achieve, and that there are dark moments in there, and that there are lonely moments in there, and you just have to keep on going. So yeah, I lived it. I didn't go to Dr. Google or anything like that. I really did just live the experience. You know, so, well, I make it sound like Disneyland, don't I? It's not not a fun experience.
It is a small world, though.
Yes, it is. But yeah, it was a life of challenge that I think got me through it a lot better. And I was quite a social media, you know, user as well at the time, and the reason I probably had so much support, and you should never compare your story with other people's stories. Everybody's got different stories. People are different. They're extroverted, introverts. Everybody's different. So you got to manage your own story. But for me, I was posting pictures in Brazil, like, I'm in Brazil, I'm at the Olympics, here's a gold medalist, I'm now on the beach, and now I'm on a mountain. It was just like, great, you know, living for likes. I was. I wasn't living for likes, but I was getting likes.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the following week, it was like, hey everyone, I know, you know, you've been following my journey. I've been at the Olympics, but unfortunately, I found a tumour and I've got cancer and I'm having surgery tomorrow. And I put, don't worry, everyone, we got this, in a Facebook status. Left it. As soon as I told the world, it was a bit less of a problem. Again, that's what I learned from the stand-up comedy thing. And when I was writing comedy, it's if you can make a joke and tell strangers about it, the problem in your head becomes a lot less than what it previously was.
Yeah.
I had some things going on when I was about 23 years old, and I sat with these thoughts for about 18 months, and I ended up doing a comedy writing course. The guy delivering it was like, stand-up comedy will set you free. I was like, wow, that sounds pretty powerful. I'll have a bit of that. Went and told a joke about what was going on in my head, and it was no longer a problem. And that's the approach that I took with the cancer. I'm just going to put it on Facebook, tell everyone. And after that status, everybody put on there, you got this, AF. AF, you got this, you got this, you got this. You've got this like this, but mine was not grammatically correct. Yours is. But yeah, you got this, AF. And we started selling these wristbands where you got this on it, because that paid for the medical bills that I had to pay for in Brazil, because I was a bit out of pocket there. I didn't have a job. I didn't know when I was going to get a job either, so I had no money. But this whole positive mantra of you got this. And I had videos from Anthony Joshua and Anderson Silva and Adam Lallana, Dame Kelly Holmes, and that was pretty cool as well. Tubes from Soccer AM, Golf Life legend. And yeah, this whole positive mantra was useful. It was just something to park your thoughts with. There is a thin line sometimes with what they call toxic positivity, especially if you just want a down day and you want to sit in bed and listen to depressing music. That's also fine. You can do that. You can't do it every day. No. But there are days when you need that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole journey leading up to cancer, I think, put me in quite a good stead for managing it with my mental health. And, you know, sometimes music was the answer. Sometimes don't sit there with your thoughts and reflect. Sometimes there are bad times to do that, like in the chemo chair. Just whack on a good song, funky beat, and that will get you up again. So, yeah.
And but like throughout the book, obviously you use music as like your listen to, and your kind of your chapter descriptions. I'm the same as I love music, man. So like my life has got a soundtrack. Was it something that you actively sought, like when you were sitting, like you say, like having chemo? My concentration levels were awful. Yeah. Like when I was going through chemo, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't concentrate, so I couldn't watch telly. But see, just being able to put a set of headphones in and listen to music, and the weird song that followed me really for a while was "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal.
Oh yeah.
So I was listening to that while I was in the Beatson, and every time that I went back for my bloods or my chest X-ray, I'd go to the reception to get my next appointment, and without a word of a lie, Seal "Kiss by a Rose" was on that radio. Every time, and it followed me around throughout my kind of cancer story. But music really got me.
But do you
through
like
it.
that song now, or do you not like that song?
No, I still love that song. You know,
it,
there were some things that I don't know if this happened to you as well. Like when I was going through treatment, my wife and I were watching the Kimmy Schmidt comedy on Netflix.
Yeah.
But then when the season 2 came out and I had been through, and I was out of it and all that, we put it on, and the opening title screens made me feel anxious, and just the music, and I was like, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I had this strange association where I didn't like it anymore.
Yeah.
So I've never went back and watched it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why I asked you, like, you know, did you like that song or not? Because cancer can ruin some songs for you as well, can't it?
Did that happen for you?
It's not. It depends on the mood, doesn't it? I think when you sort of have cancer or in remission, sometimes cancer's all right and you accept it, and sometimes you're just like, nope, not today. I'm blocking you out. Like for me, "Dog Days Are Over" by Florence the Machine was my song. I listen to it every single day, sometimes on repeat. I get in the shower, put "Dog Days Are Over" while I'm in the shower, and there's this bit in the middle where it's tap tap like that, and that would sort of give me life. I'd be like, yeah, come on, we're gonna smash it today.
Love it.
And I loved it, and I really do love it. And sometimes if I'm having a bad day or bad week, I'll put that on, and I'm like, right, I've beat cancer. I can do anything today. Come on, I should have listened to it this morning. But sometimes it will come on shuffle just by chance, and I'm like, no, see you later. Like, lob the phone out. Like, you're not today. I don't want to think about it. But "Dog Days Are Over," I loved that. Like I say, I listened to it every single day, and even through remission, like 4 months past remission, every day, give me the energy, like a flower just raising through springtime. It was great. The one that makes me emotional and probably get upset is the one that my mum was listening to. So I was out for a day walking once, came back. She doesn't really listen to music religiously at all, but she was listening to "You Raise Me Up" by Westlife,
right?
Classic. And I sort of snuck up to my bedroom at the time. I had to move back in with my mum. I was 29 at the time, but yeah, no job, no nothing, so I had to move back in with my mum during the diagnosis as well. And she was belting out Westlife on the stereo. And I was in my room, and then it kept on repeat, and it was on for like 45 minutes. And I just thought, she's trying to find a bit of hope within these lyrics. You know, she needs to raise me up. And so if I hear that song now, that's the one that gets me actually emotional. "Dog Days Are Over," I'm like, come on, we can do this. We can take over the world. Whatever we want to do, let's do it. But the Westlife one, that's ruined for me now.
Yeah. You just think of your poor mum.
Yeah, I do. But music's great. Music gives you energy. But you do need to sometimes sit with your thoughts and reflect as well. And I spoke about walking, and, you know, I listened to Nile Rodgers. I think it was his Desert Island Discs. You know, Nile Rodgers from Chic.
Yeah.
Everybody dance. And he said he had cancer, and afterwards, to get over it, he just walked for 2 years. And then in my remission years, I really felt that. I was like, I know exactly what he's talking about now. I walk and walk and walk. I'm fortunate I live down south in the countryside, and some amazing walks around there. And I don't think you should listen to music while you're walking. Walking's a time when you are good to think and reflect and think, what's the path you want to go on, and jobs, career, family, relationships, stuff like that. So I really see the benefit in walking and being with your thoughts at that time. But yeah, that's one of my favourite chapters in the book is music is the answer. And it really showed me, I don't know about you, how open you were with your journey when you were going through it. But when I opened up about, okay, everyone, I've got cancer, it sort of lowered my barriers, and then everybody else lowered their barriers themselves as well. And they sort of reflected themselves. A lot of people opened up about difficult times that they were going through, if it was like work or a relationship they didn't want to be in, or a bit of mental health going on and things like that. Did you find any of that as well?
Yeah, I think I've got a really tight group of kind of close mates. You know, and we can kind of talk about anything. But I think after I was diagnosed and went through treatment, I changed as a person, because obviously, you know, like cancer does change you as a person.
Yeah.
You know, whether that happens for you on a grand scale or a small. But there's certainly like a kind of a breaking down of I'm a really open person anyway, and I'm really loving and caring and person, and I love my friends dearly. But I think going through that, it really broke down what little barriers maybe I had, and I think it did have that effect on them. And I think, you know, in times where we've sat and we're all together, we do talk a little bit more openly and a little bit more, you know, and it might just be getting an older thing, but you do have actual conversations now where you do discuss how something made you feel. And no, definitely that happened for me as well.
Yeah. You know? And men, obviously, you know, not all men, but there is you know, the stigma and everything about talking and opening up and stuff. And the thing I was most surprised about when doing the sort of research for the book is how many men don't tell anyone. And I had a friend who said her dad got to the point of chemotherapy before telling his wife and the kids. And I'm like, you've sat on that for weeks. Like, but they didn't, you know, the person didn't want to upset the family. He's the man of the house, stiff upper lip and all that sort of thing. But opening up the discussion, and again, that's what I wanted the book to be about, is I want, in a way, some men to read the book, and if they still can't feel that energy to talk about it, that there will be a story within it that they can go to their parents or their partner or something, go, you want to know how I really feel? Read that. Yeah. You know, because you're acting like that, and this is how I feel. That's how I want it to become, if it's difficult. And like you said, I think it does open up the discussions for people. Writing the book for myself opened up a discussion with my dad and my mum and my sister, and even my friends within the book as well, of, do you remember this bit? And they'll go, yeah, I remember that. And I went, you know, when you said that, this is how it made me feel. And they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Or the other way around. I think in a way it's brought a lot of closure to the journey in a way. Again, talking or sitting with your feelings, sometimes you realise that the problem might just be in your head. Once it's spoken or written, it sort of vanishes in a way. Someone described it as, when I got the all clear, it was like you went through the whole journey holding your breath. Yeah. And then when you finally get the all clear, because that's the only time that I don't want to ruin the end of the book, but the only time that I get emotional is when I get the all clear. It was like you've been holding your breath for everyone, you're underwater, and then right at that very end you come up and gasp, I think, I'm back. Yeah. I'm not drowning anymore. I don't know if you had a similar feeling when you got the all clear. What was it? Yeah, I mean, it was very similar in that respect as well. I think for me, I went through it with this humour shield, and tried to kind of plod my way through it and be, again, you know, I've got, you know, my wife, my son, and it was a funny time. So, you know, you're trying to be strong for everybody, even though you're going through something that's making you weak, you know. And I found that after all that had happened, that was when the enormity of what I went through hit. So when I got like the all clear, and when I got told that, that's you're cancer free, but we'll keep doing the checkups. It was at that point, it was almost like
all the emotion that I should have been feeling during my cancer journey hit me. You know, and I was much the same. You know, it was like I got really emotional, I got quite labile. You know, I was always kind of like on the brink of crying most days. You know, like an advert could come on the telly and I'd burst into tears. I mean, I would do that for most things anyway, but it was just a little bit more because I'm a big softie.
Well,
do you know?
Watching Susan Boyle, Britain's Got Talent first audition, I'm bawling my eyes out.
Go on, Susan.
Oh God, yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah.
But when you got the all clear, I don't know if you felt the same, but because I know about athletes and what they go through and they reach the Olympics, and there's a thing called like paradise syndrome where you finally get to where you want to be and you complete your task. Or what athlete was I seeing the other day? He was 24 years old, reached the pinnacle of their career, and then they're like, what now? And that's how I felt the day after I got the all clear. I was like, what do I do now? Yeah. All right, I've beat it. I'm in remission. Does life just go back to normal? You've still got a bald head, so you still look like a cancer victim, which takes ages to grow back as well, by the way. Yeah. Yours is still growing back, is it?
So it's kind of grown back to me.
Mine too. I cannot talk. Oh dear. It's hat hair. Yeah, I was in New York when it started growing back, and I was in this bar. It was like a scene from Love Actually, and I don't know why she started feeling my hair, but there was this woman that started feeling my hair, and it grew back like baby hair. Did yours?
Yeah.
The softest hair ever. Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, my friend's gonna feel your hair. Girls, come over here. And then I had all these like American women in New York feeling my hair. And they were going, oh my God, what conditioner do you use? I need to buy this conditioner. I was like, you don't want this conditioner.
No. It's called BIP.
Yeah, it's called chemotherapy. Yeah. They're like, oh God, all right, keep it light. Yeah, the remission stuff is hard. It's difficult. I don't think anyone realises how difficult remission is. Well, that should be the slogan, remission. And you thought cancer was difficult. It is tough because there's so many expectations in your head. Like you just want to get back on with your life again. You know, the hair is just one small part of it. That's a short term part of it, but the side effects, you know, the peripheral neuropathy. Did you get that? The numbness in your hands, which I did not help. In one of the chapters in my book, you know, I went go-karting on the last day. What was I thinking? Go-karting, like, but like numb hands.
And you can't feel the steering wheel.
Oh my God, it was awful. And it sent pins and needles all the way up my arms. I was like, okay, now I'm having a heart attack. Brilliant. That was just such a shocking decision. I went skiing, I went go-karting in my week 9 of chemotherapy. Do not do that. went to an Anthony Joshua boxing match, 15,000 people around. It was just watch it on home. Just watch it at home. Yeah. But the peripheral neuropathy, that happens. I've not got a bottle here, but I don't know if you found, like, you know, trying to get the shampoo lid open. I just couldn't do it. I was in the shower, like, trying to flick it off the side. And no one sort of sees that. That lasts for months.
My wife always put it akin, like, because I know I might be wee, but I've got a bit of strength about me. So if I was trying to open something and I'd give it to my wife to open, she always kind of described it like Superman after he comes out of the crystal box and he's lost all his powers. She was like, oh God, and like, because like you're saying, you can't find the traction and the strength to kind of open a bottle. You know, it was horrible.
It was horrible. So you got the physical stuff, which is you know, the hair, the peripheral neuropathy and numbness in your hands. The tinnitus. Did you get tinnitus? Yeah,
I had tinnitus a little bit anyway, but it's got a lot worse since chemo, and it's pretty bad at times. Like,
oh my God, mine was awful. I've had to have hearing aids. I've not got them in today, but I had to get hearing aids to sort of try and manage that. Although saying that, last night I was in bed in Glasgow, so I flew up here yesterday from Bristol, and I got in bed and I didn't have tinnitus for the first time in like 2 or 3 years, and I went, I got to move to Scotland. Right. It must be something in the water. Sorry. But yeah, it was. Last night I was just like, led in bed smiling, thinking, I can't hear anything. Yeah. Because it's just horrible. For like 2 or 3 years now, constant ringing in my ears. Had the hearing loss, which wasn't great. And then you've got the psychological barriers to get through and the mental barriers. You know, you just want to be old AF, you know, the old person that you were, but you have to accept that it's going to be a new you know?
Yeah.
Which is a different ride, different emotional journey in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, it definitely changes you as a person, you know. You do want to go back to being you, but you're not, because you've had this impactful of life event that's changed not only you, but the people around you. And then it's also physically changed you as well. You know, and I know earlier when we talked about one of our kind of previous guests and that kind of not feeling like a man, and that's not something that you felt as such, but it must be for a lot of guys out there, you know, because it is a young man's disease. You know, we were both, you know, 29, 30 when we got that. What a time to get cancer, and especially your testicles. I mean, and losing one in the, you know, the kind of prime years of your life is the psychological impact's massive.
Yeah, I was never bitter about that until recently, and I'm still not totally bitter about it. But when I was 29, going through it, I was just like, all right, 29, let's get this out of the way. I've been dealt this hand, we're going to do it. And it was only recently, now I'm 36, I sort of look back and going, oh man, I was at a physical peak potentially. I mean, the photos might not look that way, but 29 is a great year, isn't it? And that was sort of taken away from me. So that's annoying. I made up for my travelling 3 years after I got into remission. I travelled a lot, and I'm super happy that I managed to do that still. But yeah, 29, losing your testicle, nice new scar. I've not had the prosthetic or anything put in or thought about that. I'm totally fine with one ball down there, to be honest. If anything, it's more comfortable. Yeah.
I'm the same. I never got it, and we've talked about it before. It's like sitting on a bike's so much easier.
Yeah. These jeans, they're fine, comfortable.
If you go to a tailor and they ask, how do you dress? It's like, well, in the middle.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the prosthetics, that's an interesting one. But no, didn't do that because, again, in the book, at the start of the book, my dad, you know, he owns a strip club, a gentleman's lap dancing club is its official name. Yeah. And, you know, he's seen plenty of silicone in his time. And then he was at an appointment with me, with a doctor asking if his son wants a silicone testicle. And it's like, what is going on? But yeah, the manly thing, there's also, you know, all the research in there about the testosterone levels and stuff like that. But I've still yet to go down the fertility route as well. I know you've had your successes with that. Yeah. Did you bank sperm as well before?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, did you?
Yeah. Great experience.
It's a wild experience.
Yeah. But you were married at the time?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, did she go with you?
Yeah. And even though, I mean, we were like, I had my wife with me, the questions that you get asked after, you know, like when you're filling out the form, was still a big conversation for us to have. You know, if you die, you know, do you want me? You know, that was still a massive thing. You know, did you?
So the question is, if you die, when you die, you can put someone's name on your form so that they can still use your sperm when you've passed. Yeah. Right. So you obviously put your wife's name, right? Yeah. The nurse I was with, she was like, you can't just put Rihanna. And I'm like, why not? I'm going to put Rihanna then. Don't tell me I can't do something. But yeah, because obviously I was with the Brazilian girl at the time, sort of loosely, because I was leaving Brazil anyway, so I don't know what was going to happen to that relationship at the time, but I didn't have a permanent girlfriend. So yeah, my dad took me to this fertility clinic, which I was just like, what? You know, I can still drive. I can drive myself. He's like, no, I'll take you. You know, he sat in the waiting room for me. Yeah. And I'm just, you know, in the fertility clinic, like, what? After the experience, I'm like, what's an acceptable amount of time to be in this room for? You know, do you quickly, you know, bash it out in 3 minutes and go, I'm done.
3 minutes? Jesus.
Yeah, twice.
My goodness, man.
Or do you sort of like, because you're given 1 hour, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, she points at the wall, the nurse points at the wall and goes, you've got 1 hour. Like, all right, don't put me on a timer. Put even more pressure on me. You know, the clock, it's just a massive white clock ticking on the wall, like, dunk, dunk, dunk. Yeah, that was a wild experience in there. So yeah, I think I sort of played Football Manager on my phone in there as well for about 30 minutes, just to make sure I wasn't. Again, what is the reasonable amount of time to spend in there?
Yeah. I tried to make it as quick as I could, you know. And I've spoken about this before because the nursing station was right next door to the room they put me in.
Yeah.
So all I could hear was nurses talking about their annual leave and the problems on the shift, and you know what I mean? And then you're like, how's this going to work?
Yeah.
You know, if I can hear them.
I mean, it's not exactly a room you want to spend too much time in. It's not exactly a romantic room, is it? It doesn't scream, you know, romance. It's like a blue leather couch with blue tissue paper rolled on the thing.
Yeah.
There's like one of those medical bins with like the kick pedal at the bottom to flip the lid open. Thank God that's there. I don't have to touch this bin lid or anything else in this room that someone might have just touched whilst, you know, having their own thing in their hand.
There was one of those, do you remember the old-fashioned style, like cardboard boxes that people would keep files in that had the button on the front?
Yeah.
There was one of them in my room that was just filled with porn.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to touch that.
Oh, it's so disgusting. Yeah, there's a big mirror on the wall. I just thought, what? Who's looking at themselves?
Patrick Bateman style, you know?
Yeah. Or like, you know, you finish the business and just check you haven't done like a Cameron Diaz and There's Something About Mary, you know, with the hair. But yeah, that was a wild experience as well. But that's something I've got to start exploring as well, which maybe one day, you know, me and Rihanna.
You know, you never know.
When she finally comes round and finds out that I've put her name on the form at a fertility clinic,
she'll come running.
Yeah. But no, that was an experience that people don't understand at the start of a cancer diagnosis. You just think cancer diagnosis, right? Chemo, that sounds bad. You're going to lose your hair. That sounds also bad. And then you sort of, some people survive and some people don't survive. That's sort of what people package up as a cancer diagnosis in a way, but it's so much more, isn't it?
Very much so. And it's imagine like phoning up, like, you know, when you have to go to your fertility kind of clinic and, you know, imagine cancelling that appointment and saying, you know, hello, sorry, I can't come. Oh, no.
Oh, classic. Get down that comedy centre. Come on.
You know, no, you don't understand what I mean. We can help you with that, son. No.
Yeah.
But it is it's a strange and wonderful experience at times, and it's devastatingly heartbreaking in others. I know, like, kind of at the top of the podcast, you'd said that you didn't want to talk about cancer, and you were kind of done with it, didn't want to define you, you know. But now you've wrote this book, and you do such an amazing job of testicular cancer awareness. Was there a shift that you found that caused that? Was there something that made you go, actually, I want to talk about this more, and I feel okay talking about it?
The shift was not necessarily I want to do testicular cancer awareness. I love writing, I love storytelling, and I think it's quite a good story to tell. Good in inverted commas. You know, that is the path that I'm on at the moment, and I do like raising awareness, and I'm going into schools and things like that, and I'm doing a talk at a festival soon, and I did some public speaking, so I always like doing the public speaking. But I think it's the message that I have is the storytelling aspect of it. Maybe one day I don't just want to have my eulogy read and say that he wrote a testicular cancer book. Yeah. I want them to say he was an amazing storyteller, and he did some challenges and did some adventures, and he inspired people. That's the route I want to eventually go down. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's me still living in denial or something along those lines, where I don't just want it to. I don't want to become Cancer Man. I don't want to be wearing a cape with a big C on the back and to the rescue.
Now, are you a hero or a villain? No, that's the thing. If you're Cancer Man,
the protagonist, definitely. The big evil testicle Jose is the antagonist, trying to bring you down. He's kryptonite. But no, I enjoy storytelling, and I like people connecting with words, and I like making people realise that they can push their comfort zones even more. So cancer is part of that, and it is already helping and supporting men. And writing the book, as I thought, I didn't know what to expect. My first book, didn't know what to expect. I had some really nice reviews, and I've had reviews from people that have had family members go through it and stuff like that. But the really impactful ones are, I had one recently that said, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer 3 weeks ago. Someone bought me your book, and they bought the book for themselves. And I've read it, and I was scared out of my mind. And I've read your book, and now I know I can smash this. And I just wanted to send you a message. And I was like, this is a complete stranger. He said, sorry about the long message from a complete stranger. And I was like, Jesus, this is impacting people more than I thought.
Yeah.
So that's a part which I'm really proud of at the moment, is impacting those people. If it can help one person, and it's already helped one person, so it's achieved its mission in a way. But I want it to help thousands of people and support thousands of people. And again, that's not just the person in the cancer chair, the chemo chair, or the bed. There's everybody around them, the mums, the sisters, everything that can't get into, especially a man's mind, especially a young man's mind. So that's the message behind it. I've had specialists read it. I was contacted on Twitter this week by someone who said, I've just got a copy of your book from Dr. Wheater. Dr. Wheater was my consultant in Southampton.
Right.
Said went into his office and he had copies of your book on his desk. I was like, really? No way. It was amazing.
Awesome.
So I was really proud of that. And loads of things keep coming from it that I was not expecting. I was not expecting to be in Glasgow talking to you, to be honest, but here we are.
Here we are.
So we'll see how far the book keeps going. I really do believe in the message behind it. I believe in the power of it. I believe in the arcs of the characters in there, the humour, and the dream and the big goal is to adapt it into a screen, and get it on TV, Netflix, something like that. That is the final destination, the message that I would love to get to. I know it might take years, but I've written it so that it can be adapted straight into a script and stuff like that. And I think that would be great on TV. Yeah,
no, I think so as well. I think, like I say, like from reading it and the kind of that first person narrative, it's like I like that, because like if I'm writing anything, I kind of do the same thing. Like I write something like I'm talking to somebody.
Yeah,
and I think when you have something that is adapted into a screenplay or into like a teleplay, it's always going to work better when it is that, because you can describe exactly the emotions you're feeling. And I had read bits and pieces of This Is Going to Hurt.
Yeah.
And then Ben Whishaw went on and played the character, and it's like that type of thing it was nailed. And I mean, your story and just your life in general, but like even around your story, is certainly something that's worth exploring in that. So
a lot of people have compared it to This Is Going to Hurt from the sort of patient's perspective, because obviously This Is Going to Hurt is Adam Kay, and he's the junior doctor, and he writes about all the experiences in the hospital, and a lot of people have said it's a similar vibe as This Is Going to Hurt. I actually read it after the book came out. I can totally see some of the similarities. His is more diary entry, isn't it?
Yeah.
But really, really funny stories, amazing stories. And there are two similarities in there with This Is Going to Hurt, and it's the part where I had the operation and he writes left on my leg in big black marker pen. Did you have that as well?
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, what is going on? Like, so just before your operation, when you lose a testicle, and they don't obviously take your testicle from your scrotum, they cut you up by the waistband, don't they, and pull it up like some sort of magic trick handkerchief, you know, thingy, and cut you at the spermatic cord. And
I thought it was more of a G cord, but hey.
the cordless ball, yeah. And yeah, the doctor comes up to you and he says, "Which ball was it again?" And I'm like, "Left. It's the left one." "Oh yeah, just checking." He writes massive letters on your leg, left, and an arrow pointing towards your ball. And you're like, how bad are you that you have to do that? Like, what have you done before?
Yeah. What mistakes have been made?
Yeah.
Where somebody's had the wrong testicle removed.
Yeah. That was pretty daunting. You're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then I looked at it for a second. I thought, maybe I'll get that tattooed on my leg after this as some sort of reminder to me. You know, left with an arrow pointing to my nut.
Oh, I nearly done a spit take there, thank you.
Oh dear. But Adam Kay, yeah, he talks about a similar thing. I think the reason the marker pen is a procedure of surgery now, in his book, This Is Going to Hurt, he describes it as someone had actually removed the wrong kidney from someone, and then they unfortunately died as well. But
yeah,
that's why that got introduced into the UK of that bizarre thing that happens. But yeah, I mean, it's all bizarre as well. I mean, that 5 minutes before that happened as well, when the consultant told me that I was pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm nervous. I'm about to go in for an operation to lose my testicle. 29, don't know what's going on. My mum, my dad and my sister have come for the appointment. Don't know why. You know, my mum and dad hadn't seen each other for about 10 years. Family reunion, you know, over an orchidectomy.
Yeah.
My mum was in there, and then yeah, the doctor's like, "Yeah, got your results. You're pregnant." I'm like, all right, not the time for jokes. What's going on? You know, if you do a pregnancy test, it would come up as you were pregnant. I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Just be clear. He's like, you know, you're overproducing the AFP hormone, HCG hormone, which is what the women produce when they're, you know, on the way to making a baby. And yeah, if you pee on a pregnancy stick, then it will come up, possibly come up that you're pregnant. Which also, I don't know if you've seen that story about some guy on Instagram did it for a joke.
Yes, yeah.
That must have been horrible. Like,
yeah.
He had his girlfriend's pregnancy sticks, and he thought, I'm just going to urinate on this for a laugh. Don't know why. Like, what's gone through his head to do that? Oh, so you're pregnancy. How about I do it? And it comes up pregnant. Puts it on Instagram. Hey everyone, I just peed on this stick and it says I'm pregnant. All the comments like, you've got testicular cancer.
Yeah, like go to the hospital now.
Oh God, that must have been a horrible way to find out.
A great story though.
yeah. Got some likes.
Yeah.
He went viral. He was virulous. But yeah, what is the worst way to find out? I mean, I've heard some horror stories as well from other people, like in the cancer community and stuff. And one guy, he sort of fell from a great height and landed on something, and oh my God, that was horrific.
Yeah.
But there's also a chapter in there about finding out from a dog. And you know, these dogs that smell cancer.
Yeah.
That's a bit bizarre as well, isn't it?
I know, having a dog sniff your crotch. Oh, they can smell my dog. No.
I was like, imagine finding out that way. Like, oh, he seems to be sniffing around your prostate quite a lot today. But look how cute he is. You can, you know, stroke him. Oh, thanks.
And then you can also pet the dog.
Very good.
See, maybe right. Maybe we should go to the stand and do something.
Yeah, let's get it. We should do a whole show. Just invite loads of people that have had testicular cancer. Telling funny stories. But yeah, there's certainly different ways to find out and stuff. And that's again the finding out you got the all clear as well. I don't know did you have the razzmatazz and emotion and drama and stuff, or
no? It was just a case of like went to the hospital and yep, that's it. Yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah,
no cancer cells detected. Go home. Okay.
Yeah, like, you know, come on, give me something else. Yeah, like do a presentation or something. I walked in. Yeah, Dr. Wheat. I've done him. Hopefully not too much of a disservice in the book, but he just went, yeah, that's it then. And I'm like, no, like get on your knees and start high-fiving me or something like start celebrating. Come on.
Play some music. I want some David Brent action on the go, you know.
But he was just like, yeah, that's it. And I'm like, I don't say that's it. Say, you've done it.
Yeah.
But you know, 5 minutes later, he could have another appointment where someone walks in and he's got to deliver bad news and say, you've still got it, or something's been worse. So it must be such a, you know, you keep your emotions very separate in that job and that line of work. So that's what some people struggle with, the doctor relationship as well, consultant relationship, and the nurses, that, you know, nurses, not all nurses, but very friendly, family like. It's brilliant. Nurses are amazing. They carry all that with you, and then sometimes when the doctors aren't giving you everything, you just feel like they're holding back something.
Yeah.
And I know that plays on a lot of people's minds as well, like throughout. Yeah.
Aye, awesome. So just to kind of round up as such, you got anything that, you know, because my hope for this podcast is similar to that of your book. You know, it's for guys to discover, but not just the guys who are going through it, but their family members to listen to it. Because much like, and people who listen to this week in, week out will get bored of me saying this, but if my wife and I had found, you know, stories like ours online, or if I had your book when I was going through my treatment, it would have made me feel a lot better, and probably would have made those around me feel better if I could say, read this. You know, this is kind of what I'm thinking and going through. You know, I know you say it all in the book, but is there anything that you would say to those going through it, about to go through it, and their families about, you know, that kind of cancer journey?
I think the hardest part, obviously apart from the chemo and the making you feel sick and things like that, but you do go on a survival mode when you're in hospital, and you know your appointments, you're about to get plugged in. You can sort of handle that. The difficult parts are the things that you don't expect to come with cancer, and that is, you know, almost learning the art of patience. It's so difficult to be patient because you think you might be dying sometimes, but you're waiting for hospital appointments, you're waiting for more blood tests, you're waiting for chemotherapy schedules, and you just have to learn your best ways to become patient. And that also includes post-cancer too. So again, it's that being patient of what getting your life back. You know, it doesn't just get back to life at the all clear. You're not just free to carry on with the rest of your life. You've done a little short sentence and you're back out. You really have to be patient, self-reflection, sit with your thoughts, and it might not be a happy place sometimes, but you have to go on to some sort of self-discovery. And if you can't do that, you can also, like in the book, go to meditation classes. And again, this might be something that men don't think about doing, or, you know, I'm not going to sit there and think about nothing. That's not my vibe. But it is beneficial. And I think every chapter in the book has got, it's a narrative story, but every chapter is almost a standalone chapter in terms of what's going to happen with you on the journey. There's a food chapter, there's a headspace chapter, keeping fit, and all things like that. So if all else fails, buy some Lego. Build Lego. Yep. Or get a Panini sticker album and start collecting foot. It's really strange how you become really nostalgic when your health goes, and you want to do things that you did when you were a child and you really enjoyed. Yeah. You know, all the work worries and stresses and things that you really become worried about in life, they almost disappear, and you're just like, I want to do a puzzle. Yeah. And they're just great because with a Lego or puzzle, you all of a sudden don't think about, oh my God, how's someone going to react if I lose my hair? How's someone going to react if I have to tell them that I can't come out today? All you're thinking about is, where does this little piece go? That's where all your thoughts go and are consumed by.
Yeah. As you're going back through every page of the thing going, it's meant to be, oh no, it's 5 pages back, I've got to take all this apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not thinking about it.
Yeah. You get some hobbies and surround yourself with as good as people that you can surround yourself. And, you know, it's a very difficult journey, but it's the difficult journey with the things that you don't expect. You know, chemo's difficult, being sick is difficult, and anti-sickness drugs are difficult. But sitting on your own with your own thoughts, God, it can be a lonely place sometimes, can't it? But you've got to start flipping it into the positives. And write down stuff, journal. You never have to share it with anyone. But once it's on a piece of paper, it's not in your head as much. Write it down, turn it into some comedy. Put some jokes in there, and journal it, because in years to come, when you've beat it, and you think you're having a bad day, you can always look back at that day and think it can always be worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So this is your kind of time as well. You know, like plug the book. You know, give people your socials if you want to as well, and you know,
plug the book. Yeah. So it's called Tumorous Hesticles by AF Marseh. It's available on Amazon, on paperback and Kindle. And yeah, it's been getting some great reviews. If you don't think it's for you just yet, or you want to know more, have a look at the reviews, what people are saying so far. And yeah, my socials across all social media platforms are at AF Marseh, which is AF, and Marseille, Marseh, like the French town, but spelt completely differently.
Right. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Been a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. Really enjoyed it. What a setup as well, by the way.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Honestly, cheers, mate.
No.
Boom. Excellent.